have a program called Fitness for Life. And my guests are Elaine Bigler, the instructor, Tip Smith, one of the participants in the program, and Vida Kernich, also a class participant. So we are going to be talking a little bit about fitness and for senior citizens. I mean, we're not couch potatoes, and we like to be active, and the best way to be active is to do it correctly and not to be trying to do something that we can't do and then get into trouble. So this class will teach you how to do it correctly. And I'll be talking to Elaine Bigler, and she will be telling us some of the things that about the class. So Elaine, what are some of your qualifications for this program?
Well, actually, I've been in the fitness industry teaching group exercise programs for 17 years. And I actually started out in corporate fitness and did programs for a lot of the corporations downtown in Pittsburgh. But then I branched out and also became involved in the communities, developing various programs for them. I am an ACE, or American Council on Exercise certified fitness instructor, and I'm also an ACE certified personal trainer. We actually have started the senior group exercise program this past spring 2000, and we're looking to start it up again here in the fall and run it continuously as long as there's interest in the program here in Peters Township.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'm sure there probably will be.
We're hoping so.
So what type of exercise program is Fit, Fabulous, and 55?
Well, basically the title of the program will tell you a little bit about it, but the program is really designed specifically with individuals, male and female, who are ages 55 and up. And I would like to stress the fact that even if you're younger than 55, you can participate in this program. And when I say 55 and up, in the first program that we actually ran here in Peters, we had an age span from 55 to 85 years old. So it really encompasses quite a large age span. But it's really designed for individuals who are looking to maintain an active and independent lifestyle. And as I said, it is for both men and women, because a lot of times men sometimes will hesitate to get involved in the class, but it's not just for women.
Right, and it's the only way to really keep healthy.
Absolutely.
And, you know, not only diet, but there's always, you know, you should exercise also.
Absolutely, and that's one of the things that we sort of stress in the program, that it's a combination of different factors as we all age that are going to help maintain a healthy, active lifestyle. Sometimes we don't always have control over it, but these are some of the things that you can control. And exercise, of course, is one of those, being active.
Mm-hmm. What is the goal of the program, and what type of benefits can a participant expect to achieve?
Well, there's a lot of goals actually in the program that we try to address in the classes. One of those is improving cardiovascular health. And to just put that in simple terms, sometimes if we're not involved in being active on a regular basis, all of a sudden we notice things like we're climbing stairs and we're out of breath. So working with the cardiovascular system and keeping that healthy helps us to be able to do those type of activities in everyday life without becoming winded. That's one area that we address. The other areas that are important, we work on muscular strength and muscular endurance. And that old saying, if you don't use it, you lose it, is very true.
Yeah.
And that, particularly with the muscles, if we're not using the muscles as we age, you begin to lose that muscle mass. And oftentimes I'll hear people saying to me, you know, I eat the same as I did when I was younger, but all of a sudden I'm starting to gain weight. I like to try to tell people your muscles are like the engines of your body. They are very important in burning the calories, the fat in your body, okay? And if you don't have as much muscle mass as you grow older, you're going to burn those calories less effectively, okay? You don't have those engines there.
Right.
So you can eat the same, and all of a sudden you find that you're gaining weight. So it's very important not only for weight maintenance to work on the strength that we do with the muscles and that, but it's also important for everyday activities, if you think about it.
Right.
Whether that be going to the grocery store.
Well, there's all those little things, I mean, that we do every day.
Right.
Vida, how did you find the program?
I enjoyed the program thoroughly, and I found it to be very beneficial. It's very invigorating, and at the end of each class, I just felt great, had more energy, and it's just basically, I think, a very, very good program.
Tip, how about you?
She said it all.
That's not the way I
Nothing to that.
So, well, did
It's
any of you
wonderful.
have a medical problem or anything that you had to do the cardiovascular or anything like that?
No, not really.
Lucky
Not
you,
really.
I did.
Really.
And they do stress exercise.
Right.
Cardiovascular.
And that you bring up a very good point too, because I think a lot of people are concerned about the fact that they may have some limitations because whether they be you know, something possibly like arthritis or diabetes.
Oh, you mean Mr. Arthur?
Well, I have found that that's a very common factor in many people, is the arthritis, and even other medical situations like diabetes or high blood pressure. They're very common, unfortunately, today. And the thing about this program is, even if you have those types of limitations, possibly, I don't even like to look at them as a limitation, but they do affect how you're going to exercise, that you can still participate in this kind of program. In fact, what we try to do is, on each person that actually comes into the program, each person gets a clearance from their personal physician.
Yeah, I noticed that on your resume here, that
Right.
you do have to have from your physician, which I think is very good, because everybody is not the same, and you can always gear yourself as to what the program is then.
Right.
Am I
right.
correct in
You're
saying
very
that?
correct, and it also allows us to be able then to see what specific things a person has marked down, if they have arthritis or whatever, and then we are able then to communicate, if necessary, with their personal physician, or possibly they may be coming out of even physical therapy, and we're able to form a relationship there that they will be able to exercise in this class safely and effectively. And each person, if you come into the class, you'll notice will be doing something possibly a little different, a modification, because it's going to be better for them. Maybe if they have arthritis in the knee, they're not comfortable doing something. So we work with each person as an individual, even though it's a group exercise program. I think that's real important, because a lot of times people come in and they're afraid that they're going to be not able to keep up with things.
Right, well now
and
you're
do some of
saying
the
as a
things.
group. I mean, does everybody do the same thing, or do you all do your own exercises? How do you work that?
Well, we do
Vida?
the same thing, right,
Yes,
Vida?
as a group, yes.
You all
Right.
do it as a
Everybody-
group, and
Yes,
you do
as
what
a
you
group.
can.
Absolutely.
Is that how it is?
Right.
Absolutely.
Right.
And like I say, there are certain instances where it may not be specifically the best exercise for an individual based on, you know, we've given modifications in the classes
Right.
For a different way to maybe work the same muscle group, or, you know, so
Only
that
not
it's more
quite as
comfortable.
strenuous or something
Sometimes
like that.
it's even that, and people are working at different levels. This isn't just for advanced participants, it's for everybody
start
from a
slowly and
novice
work up.
to, right, right. It's about progressing slowly. It
Yeah.
is.
Is this a good program for a novice exerciser? You know, it's one of your questions here, who have been exercising regularly. I mean, is this good for somebody that's just starting, or is it a continuance, or?
Well, actually, it's for either. And I know that sounds like, how can that be?
Yeah, how can that be?
But it is actually for either. Somebody coming new into the program, as I said, in the classes, and I am actually instructing this class, obviously, I always give modifications. So there will be different ways to do an exercise for maybe a specific muscle group that we're trying to strengthen. And you can choose which one is going to feel the best for you. And if you're not sure, then we'll have that communication together. So I can say, okay, let's see what's going to work best for you. So that's what's really sort of nice about the class, because it's not about everybody really doing the same thing. I mean, we are to a certain extent, but yet we have all these different
degrees,
levels of being able to do things.
Tip, how did you come into this?
She hooked me in on it.
Oh, she did.
She made me.
She made you come.
She put a gun to my head.
Oh, right.
She wanted me to go, and I thought it'd be good for me. You know,
Well, actually, I have to tell you, too, I will just add this, because this is my grandmother. She is actually the person who got me into the fitness profession. I have to give her credit for that.
Oh,
this woman has exercised every day of her life.
I can see.
And yes, and she is the reason that I actually got into the fitness profession 17 years ago. She dragged me to a class.
See? See, now the truth
Don't
comes
let her
out.
fool you.
not even with me.
We talked a little bit about arthritis, and what if you have arthritis, or did we cover that already, that might affect your ability to participate? I mean, what if you have these different things?
Different things like that. Arthritis in itself, I find that the majority of participants that do come into the class have some form of arthritis.
Oh,
Okay.
everybody has that.
Right.
So let's not fool ourselves. Right, Tip?
I don't believe it.
Lots of times in those knees and hips and even in the fingers. And one of the things that's important when you do have something like arthritis is to keep moving, and to be able to keep movement through what we call a full range of motion. So that what that means is you're able to move the joint through a motion that it's supposed to go through. And with arthritis, we sort of base it on, sometimes it will be a little uncomfortable for an individual to work through some of that. If they're at a point where it's really flared up, of course they're going to want to ease back. But again, movement is extremely important if you do have arthritis. If you're just sitting, it becomes worse.
Right, and if you've had like, say, a knee replacement or anything like that, and you just sit and don't do your exercises, you'll never bend that knee.
Right. Right.
I know, but then I did my exercises.
And that's why they send people to therapy
Right, right.
to make sure they at least bend it for a while. And I would like to say too, just on that note with the therapy and that, one of the things that I didn't mention is a lot of the things that that I put into the programs actually do come from physical therapy. Because I'm ACE certified, I do maintain continuing education, and most of my continuing education comes directly from the physical therapy field. I think that's very important because
Definitely.
we do things a little bit differently than maybe individuals have seen in some of the traditional classes if they've participated in the past. And I think that's very important to note also.
So, maybe there's some questions you would like your participants in that. So, if we can get them to answer
If they will talk to you, right?
So I'll let you do the questioning now.
Okay. Well, I think probably the biggest thing that I would say to you, I know, I'm not sure if it was you, Vida, that maybe mentioned to me that some people that you know possibly were fearful to come to the class, some friends in that, because they were afraid that it might be either too difficult, that they wouldn't be able to keep up, or that they had been in classes before and had maybe been injured in a class before. And it was sort of like, I think in your case, maybe you were out there testing it out for maybe some of your friends, and they found that you survived actually the spring. And I know, obviously, I'm not sure, I know you've told me that you felt that you really benefited from the program.
Oh, yes, very much so.
And I think, like I say, that you've had some things maybe with the arthritis also.
Yes,
Correct?
especially in my ankle, my
Right.
left ankle, yes.
And I guess, did you find that you were given enough, hopefully, modifications that you were able to still feel successful in doing what you were doing there.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, you just have to put in your mind, this is something I want to do and it's good for me. So then you go ahead and do your best at it.
Right.
Yes.
Right. And I'm afraid to ask Tip a question because she
Yeah,
might
I'd
not
be a
answer
little
me
afraid to ask her too. She might get that gun out.
She might. But as I said, I guess for you, Tip, I mean, you've been doing this. You're the one that sort of got me involved in all this, and it's sort of strange asking her how she's benefited because I think she's really benefited me. But I guess, you know, the activity, I know you came into it and you were a bit skeptical too because she had really never taken a class that I had actually instructed, but she kept coming back. And I think probably one of the best things, and tell me if I'm wrong, that you liked about the class were the people that were actually in it, like Vida and some of the
Wonderful
others.
people, yes.
Well, I think the people that do participate in something like this is something that they want to, I don't know how to put it, but to help themselves.
Right.
And instead of just like in my introduction, these couch potatoes. I mean, you know, everybody, it's a label that seniors have is a couch potato. Well, people that are involved in all this are not couch potatoes.
No, they're not. In fact, I had one of the ladies in the class, and she's not here today, but she said to me, she said, don't you think we work harder than other people? And I'm thinking, what does that mean? And I looked at her and I said, you know, you're right. I said, she said, because we're always here. And one of the things that I noticed is really nice about you guys is the fact that if they're not going to be there, they call me and tell me. And they don't want me to be worried or concerned that they're not there. And they're very dedicated. You guys were always there.
Thank you.
And the one lady that I was telling you about said, I think we're more dedicated because we know we have to do this and we're not going to be moving.
That's right. How big are your classes? I mean, do you have a limit on your classes?
Well, what we haven't gotten to the point where we've had to put any sort of limit on the class because it's very new. And we had run the program in the spring, and we had a very small group, but like I say, a really great group of participants. And right now, like I say, we're looking to hopefully get some more individuals out there to participate in the program. We have a lot of fun, and I think that's an important thing also.
Oh, yeah.
It's not about
who
being
wants
so
to do
serious.
something?
Right?
Yeah, I mean, if you can't have fun,
Right.
I mean, why do it?
And we use some great music.
Oh,
Yes.
wonderful.
Oh, yes. Glenn Miller.
Glenn Miller, we had that.
Yes.
Some of the songs, they know the artists too, and I wasn't sure of the names of the artists, so they
And
were
they
telling
told
me.
you.
But we really enjoyed that music quite a bit, didn't we?
So, yeah, that would be a fun part of the program then.
It is.
Yes.
It is. And again, it is not only, like I say, is it working on the areas of the cardiovascular and muscular strength, but we also touch on some coordination type things, which we had quite a bit of fun with some balls that we were working with in the classes. And we're actually looking here in the fall to start utilizing a tool that's called a stability ball. And that actually comes directly from physical therapy. And there are these enormous balls, which I know Tip has seen, but Vida, you have not seen them yet. And I actually had Tip on one of the stability balls, and she was laughing quite a bit.
What did you do, roll you over?
You couldn't sit on it. You just
Couldn't sit on it.
Well, that's the whole thing. It helps with posture and balance. And again, as we all age, those are things that we begin to lose a bit of as we get older. And even, I know myself, my balance is not quite the same as it was when I was 20 or 10 or whatever. So we work on those areas also.
Isn't it funny how it takes us longer to get something, to go where we're going?
Right, right, it does. Or even simple things. If you think, what we try to do are functional exercises in these classes, and that is a term that means we teach exercises and do exercises in a way that you will be utilizing your body when you do everyday activities. It's not just about sitting there lifting a weight. It's about what am I going to need if I need to pick up a couple grocery bags, or if I'm going to pick up a grandchild or a great-grandchild. Or if I'm involved, maybe I play tennis for an activity. We work on things that are about everyday life, not just about, you know, a lot of people think, well, we're going to the gym and we're going to pump some weights. But the exercises are actually designed to help individuals in everyday activities. Even for some people, it's very difficult to get from a seated position to a standing position.
I was going to ask you something about this. Do you have your exercises sitting down, or are they standing, or is it a combination?
Well, in the class that we had in the spring, everybody was able to be standing. But if there are individuals that cannot do some of this in a standing motion, they can still participate, because you can do quite a bit from a seated position. Even for the cardiovascular, where you're moving around and getting the heart rate up some, you can do quite a bit in the chair. So it can be either.
Well, that's good to know that for someone, you know, that would be, that wouldn't be able to do the strenuous, or the standing part and everything.
Right,
but there is hope for them, too.
Right. And again, you know, it's about working with individuals at whatever fitness level, wherever they may be. And keeping that activity and keeping, I think, basically quality of life. I know myself, I hope to follow in her footsteps and be as active as she is now.
Yes.
I think that's extremely important, don't you?
Definitely.
Yes, definitely.
We all want to keep moving for a while.
That's right.
And this is something that can help along, like what you had said. You need to also be concerned about diet and other factors, too, that you have control over.
Right. There's one instance, I was a Girl Scout leader for quite a few years, and I'd taken the girls camping. And it was in wintertime. We were going to toboggan. Well, I was 18 at the top of the hill, but when I got at the bottom of the hill, I wasn't 18 anymore, believe me. And so,
But it's those things that, you know, you want to continue enjoying in your life.
Right.
I mean, we've played tennis together for years, and to be able to do that with my own grandmother, because she has stayed active, has really been special to me personally. I mean, and I know Vida has a handful of grandchildren at her house.
Yes.
And they're young.
Yeah.
And
Gee,
does
I got
all
a
kinds
grandma
of
that
things
can
with
play
them.
with me.
That's right. And,
Right.
you know, it really, being a child, which I'm not any longer, but that's really a pretty neat thing to have.
Yeah.
And I feel very blessed to be able to have that. And I'm so glad that she's the way that she is most of the time. We tease each other a lot. And I am sure your grandchildren appreciate the fact that you are as active as you are.
Oh, yes, yes.
And they're adorable. I've seen them before. So.
Thank you.
Well, I know
Thank
my
you.
grandchildren, well, not lately, but before they always said, gee, I've got a grandma that goes riding yet,
Right.
you know, and
Right.
so, you know, so.
And you know, having that type of energy. Here's another thing. Did you guys find that you had better energy levels participating in the class? Do you feel that that gave you more energy?
Yes. Oh, yes.
That is one of the
More
benefits.
agility and
Right.
how to use
get up and go.
your different parts more effectively, like then, or something.
Right.
You know,
and
the
just,
correct way.
and just that additional energy can be really one of the first benefits that a lot of people notice is that a lot of people come to exercise, particularly, you know, well, you know, my pants are getting a little tight or whatever, but there are so many other benefits that come along with this, from the energy to actually even sleeping better often.
Oh, I found that out, yes.
I think you
found
had
that to be
mentioned that to
true,
me, didn't
yes. You do sleep better.
Right.
Is it because you're tired?
Yes. And we had talked also, Elaine, about maybe walking, you know,
Right.
this fall session.
Right. That's. I'm glad you brought that up, because I also teach fitness walking, and I know there's a lot of people out there that walk on a regular basis.
Fitness walking, is that different than regular walking?
It actually is a little bit, and we may be incorporating that into some of what we do in this program. We probably won't start out with it, but we are going to be going into that possibly too, and it is different. Fitness walking, a lot of people go out there and walk, and they sometimes wonder why they're not getting some of the benefits that they would really like to get from it. And a lot of times it's because they're not walking at a pace that's intense enough to give them some of the benefits that they would like to see. So what fitness walking is, it's taking a few little techniques, and some of these techniques, not to frighten anybody, but they do come from race walking, some of them, and it's taking some of these techniques and teaching them. They're very simple because there's not an incorrect way to walk, but it's taking them and showing people how to get more out of what their walking program currently may be. So that's a good thing, and I think we could have some fun with that because the fitness walking is very fun to do. And I know Tip has actually participated in the fitness walking program that we've done.
We can walk on our beautiful trail right here in
That's right.
Peters
We do have a
Township.
nice trail here in
Yes.
Peters also.
Are you from Peters here then?
Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
okay. And Tip, you're from Washington.
Canonsburg.
Oh, Cannonsburg.
Right.
And you're from Cannonsburg?
I'm actually from Washington, but I have family here in Cannonsburg also.
Yeah. So, well, let me see. Perhaps you better tell us. We've talked all about this and everything, but where's it going to be?
Good question. We are actually going to be holding the program at the old Peters Township Library, but it's been newly remodeled. We have a beautiful room that I just saw before we came here that we're going to be in, and the program is actually going to be starting on September 18th. We're going to be running the programs Mondays and Wednesdays.
Twice a week.
Twice a week, and we're going to run a 6-week session to start. It's going to run from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. And then we will start another 6-week session right after that that will begin on October 30th. And the one thing that I would like to tell to people, if they don't feel that they can come to all the classes, they are going to have flexibility of signing up for different numbers of classes. So maybe they're going on vacation. If they can't sign up for all 12 classes that are offered in a 6-week session, they can sign up for maybe 9 or 6, and they can take them when they are able to during that 6-week session. And to register, they would need to
Okay.
contact the Parks and Recreation Department.
Okay, the
in Peters
942 number at 942-5000.
That's the number for,
Okay, and I see here that for if you have if you need additional information, is that your office number?
that is my
the-
office number, and anybody can feel free to call me if they have any specific questions about the program. I would encourage them to call because I'd be more than happy to answer.
Like if they have a problem during
Absolutely.
the time or something?
Absolutely.
And,
Right.
so, and that number I have written down here, 222-4718.
That's correct.
Okay. It's been very, very interesting talking to you. Well, talking to you, you wouldn't talk. But it was wonderful meeting you all and hoping that you do well on your program.
Thank you very
And
much for
that,
having us here.
Because it is
you.
something that we do need. And it isn't a frivolous, it wouldn't come out
Right.
thing. It is something that is of benefit to all of us. And Elaine, you did a wonderful, wonderful job in presenting your program here.
Well,
And,
and again, I probably didn't touch some of the questions that people may have, but please
Yeah.
feel free to call me.
Well, you can tell that it is from your heart that you're doing this.
I love it
And,
very much.
And that you're doing it to benefit people.
Right.
And that, so let's hope that people pick that up. And,
I hope we get some new ones to join us.
So, and Tippy, I hope, thank you very much for coming.
Thank you.
And Vida, also, thank you.
You're welcome.
And,
I enjoyed being here.
It's been wonderful having you all here. And I hope that people do realize how important exercise really is.
Right.
And, you know, it isn't just a plaything, it is something for your health. And that, so this is Erma Grego from Senior Perspective. Thank you.